The review of striking headlines in the papers. On today's edition of the program, the newspapers are focusing on what is happening in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon, where more and more Ambazonian fighters are falling in the trap of the military. We are told that several Ambazonian fighters have been killed in different raids in collaboration with the population in some communities in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. We shall be telling you more on some of those headlines as captured by newspapers today in the country regarding the Ambazonian fighters that are falling into the trap of the military, as well as the population rising against those Ambazonian fighters who are masquerading, according to the papers, as liberators. Meanwhile, they are oppressors. Bomotonguina Gwladys is here with us this morning, but we will not be doing our usual tradition. We'll begin this morning with the English language newspapers before we come back to Gwladys. Good morning, Gwladys.
Bonjour, Lasha Kinsley.
How are you doing today?
Pas très bien avec la pluie, mais bon, ça va.
The rainy season has begun seriously, and our guest is still on his way as a result of the rain this morning. We shall be having Tante Amadou, who is, of course, an active member of the civil society. He works for an organization which is fighting against the rights of the less privileged in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. I begin this morning with Newswatch newspaper. Newswatch this morning is interested in what happened in Donga Mountain Division of the northwest region of the country, where Ambazonia General Try and See tries military meets death. The paper tells us that 4 other Ambazonian fighters were killed alongside the self-styled general in Ndu subdivision on Tuesday, April 26, 2022. And the paper tells us that government troops have killed the self-styled general Try and See, and the separatists Ambazonia armed fighter who has been wreaking havoc and orchestrating the killing of especially Mbororo or Fulanis in Donga Mountain Division of the restive northwest region of the country. Administrative and military sources have told the newspaper, or confirmed to the newspaper, that the warlord was killed alongside 4 other fighters during a military operation on Tuesday, April 26, 2022 in that locality of the northwest region of the country. We stay with Newswatch newspaper to talk about CDC. CDC upbeat on production despite security challenges. And Franklin Ngoni Ekomenjie, General Manager of Cameroon Development Corporation, the country's largest agro-industrial enterprise and the second highest employer after the government of the Republic of Cameroon, or the public service, has said that insecurity arising from the drawn-out socio-political crisis in the northwest and southwest regions of the country has hindered production or the activities of the said corporation. And despite the challenges, the company is bent on overcoming the said challenges to move ahead. More details on page 5 of this edition of Newswatch newspaper. And we are told that Barrister Angola Fosso poised to becoming the first ever female bar president of the country. You can read more on the profile of the lawyer, the female lawyer who wants to become the first female bar president, or female lawyer to host that post of the bar council in the country. More details in this edition of Newswatch newspaper. And to curb and maintain morality, or maternal mortality, a senator in the northwest region of the country has called for revision of traditional succession laws in the country. A senator, according to the paper, of the northwest region has decried the pressure some families mount on women to give birth to male children, generally believed to be the man's successor. The lawmaker disclosed that such pressure, sometimes against medical advice, is responsible for maternal mortality in communities in the northwest and southwest regions of the country, as well as other regions of the country. We take you now to the Guardian Post newspaper. The Guardian Post is also focusing on several Ambazonian fighters who have been killed in communities in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. The paper says more Amba fighters fall in battles with military. Amba general girlfriend, over 12 fighters killed in Batibo, Bonge and Du in Donga Mountain Division of the northwest region of the country. At audience with Minat Boss, Territorial Administration Minister Paula Tanganji, UN Refugee Agency head hails government's hospitality to displaced persons in the country. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, Filippo Grandi, according to the paper, has hailed Cameroon's generosity, hospitality and careful management of hundreds of thousands of refugees resident in the country. The senior UN diplomat made the remarks at the end of an audience granted him by the Minister of Territorial Administration of the country, Paul Tanganji. That was in Yaoundé, yesterday. More details on page 2 of this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper. Still talking about Bar Council election, Barrister Ndong Christopher declares for bureau membership, and legal luminary and political chief barrister or politician rather, Chief Barrister Ndong Christopher Mve has declared his intention to run for the executive bureau membership of the Cameroon Bar Council. The renowned member of the Cameroon Bar Association recently made known his intention to go for a position in the executive arm of the Bar Council of Cameroon. More details in this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper. We take you now to Municipal Updates. Municipal Updates newspaper is focusing on Kumba Ekondo Titi route. New equipment announced to ease rehabilitation works, writes the said newspaper. It should be recalled that the Ekondo Titi Kumba route came under scrutiny during an all-Indian conference which held at the Mundemba Council Hall in Ndian Division of the southwest region of the country, where sons and daughters of that division converged on Mundemba to chart way forward or how they can bring peace or restore peace in their division, as well as championed development. More details in this edition of Municipal Updates newspaper, which is also focusing on the visit of the Canadian High Commissioner to the northwest region of the country, Richard Bale. Richard Bale was in the northwest region of the country, where he met with some local administrative authorities as well as members of the Northwest Regional Assembly in Bamenda, chief town of the Northwest region of the country. And in Oku, population military captured dozens of Ambazonia fighters alive. You can get more details about the military collaboration, military as well as civilian collaboration that is yielding fruit in Oku in the northwest region of the country. Let's talk about the longest serving mayor of the country, the mayor of Mora, who reportedly died recently. The mayor Abba Buka, who has served the Mora Council for over 37 years. You can read more about Abba Buka's service as mayor for 37 years uninterrupted in that part of the country. Thank you for watching, televiewers of My Media Prime Television. Let's now take you to Gwladys Bomotonguina, who will now tell us what the French newspapers gather for us today before we come back in the studio to talk more on some of those major headlines. Over to you, Bomotonguina, Gwladys.
Merci beaucoup, Lasha. Alors, ce matin, nous allons débuter avec le journal Essingan qui nous parle, lui, du désordre au sein du RDPC. En effet, le journal nous parle des disciplines au sein du RDPC, impunis derrière les barreaux, membres du bureau politique et du comité central. Aucun de ces barons n'a fait l'objet de sanctions disciplinaires au sein du Rassemblement démocratique du peuple camerounais, alors qu'ils sont accusés, poursuivis et déclarés coupables de malversation financière, de détournement de deniers publics et de corruption, de crimes économiques réprimés par les lois de la République. Les détails sont donc en page 5 de ce journal Essingan ce matin. Mesdames, Messieurs, nous continuons ce matin avec le journal La Nouvelle Expression qui nous parle ici d'attaques ambazoniennes en chaîne à l'ouest Cameroun. Les responsables des services décentralisés du ministre de la Communication ont reçu l'ordre de travailler en collaboration avec ceux de la police et les autorités administratives locales pour brouiller les signaux des médias que les séparatistes utilisent pour faire leur propagande. Les détails sont donc en page 3 de ce journal La Nouvelle Expression ce matin. En page 7, le journal nous parle du transport aérien. Camerco est donc dans le ciel du Tchad. Alors, nous continuons donc, mesdames, messieurs, ce matin avec le journal Le Messager qui nous parle de pénurie de gasoil au Cameroun. Le calvaire carbure au diesel. En page 7, le journal nous parle de la maladie congénitale, l'ange gardien d'Onana. En page 3, le journal nous parle de parti État, la stratégie de guerre d'Olivier Bélier. Nous terminons donc, mesdames, messieurs, ce matin avec le journal L'Info à chaud qui nous parle ici de la candidature ou bien la supposée candidature d'Ngana Moued comme sélectionneur des Lions Indomptables équipe nationale de football féminine. Peut-être Ngana Moued bientôt. C'est du moins ce que a intitulé le journal L'Info à chaud ce matin. En page 5, le journal L'Info à chaud nous parle du complexe sportif d'Olembe. Le ministre des Sports dénonce la mauvaise qualité des écailles de pangolin installées. C'est ici, mesdames, messieurs, que nous arrêtons pour ces titres en langue française. Merci, Lasha. À vous la parole.
Thank you, Gwladys Bomotonguina. Our guest is already on the line to Yaoundé. We are talking about the secretary or communication secretary to the Popular Action Party of Nsah, Dennis, who is joining us this morning on the line to Yaoundé. Mbane Elvis, good morning and welcome once again.
Good morning, Lasha. Good morning to Gwladys back there in the studio. And good morning to all viewers of my media. Let me begin by signaling already that the lines are not very clear, so I may face some difficulties in getting you.
Notwithstanding, we're going to try our best in being audible for you to get our question. You've not had the opportunity to comment on the All-Indian Conference which held at the Mundemba Council Hall in the southwest region of the country. The Sun newspaper this morning is focusing on the speeches that were made during the set meeting in Indian division, which was meant to restore peace as well as champion development in that division, the division of origin of the Prime Minister.
Yes, Mr. Lasha, like I earlier mentioned, I am really facing difficulties in getting you. But if I really have to say something with respect to the conference that took place in Jan, with the aim to restore peace in that part of the country, I must say our politicians in this country should not actually, or should I say our elite government, should not want to politicize this thing for personal gains. We are all for the fact that peace should return to the former British Southern Cameroon, irrespective of what locality we are talking about here. And now we know that opportunities have come up before where people like the late Natumi tried to organize an all-Anglophone conference, but it was this same regime that never gave the opportunity to do something. I don't understand why today the PM and others should think that they can go in terms of localities and understanding such conferences and they permit them happen. I wonder if some other person were to come up to do the same thing in the locality, will this regime permit them, or must it be conferences organized only by members of the... But all in all, what I'm saying here is that we are for the fact that there should be a return to normalcy in the northwest, the southwest regions of Cameroon, and with our elite in the regime or Yaoundé understand that it is necessary that the organized that we have been talking about a genuine come together where sons of and daughters of that part of the country they sit down and they talk and they table all what they have as grievances or as problems in this country and they forward them to Yaoundé so that we can jointly seek last solutions to the problems that we are facing. It should not be a matter of particular elites come from particular areas, organizing within their own villages and then going back to Yaoundé to tender a report as to what they have done, because I'm afraid that people are only seizing this opportunity once again to sell or try to maintain their positions in the regime and of course safeguard their daily bread.
Elvis, don't you think that peace or charity should begin at home, like it is often said? The move, should other elites from other divisions not copy what the elites from the division of origin of the Prime Minister have done?
I'm not getting you at all, Mr. Lasha.
I'm asking that should it not be an example that is supposed to be copied by many other elites from other divisions?
Hello?
I'm asking if it is not you know, a good move or a move that is supposed to be copied by other.
I don't have any feedback at all.
Gwladys, our line seems to be disturbing. We'll come back to Mbane Elvis to talk more. We're discussing about the move championed by some elites of Indian division to talk about peace and, development. Elvis was criticizing the move, saying that, what the people are doing, they were not supposed to do. That it's supposed to be a national thing, not only something that is supposed to, have to do with only people from a particular division going to talk peace concerning a conflict that is affecting two other regions of the country.
Effectivement, Lasha, j'ai pensé que cette semaine allait se terminer sans que je donne mon opinion sur ce sujet parce que j'avais vraiment beaucoup à dire sur le sujet. Lasha, je pense que Mbane Elvis a élevé le point sur lequel je voudrais m'appesantir lorsqu'il s'agit de cette conférence, à ce que cette conférence est concernée. Je pense que lorsque Samuel Kleda a voulu organiser une conférence dans le cadre de la paix pour regrouper tous les anglophones, toute cette partie du pays. Yes. On ne lui a pas donné l'autorisation. Il n'a pas été permis de le faire. Alors que c'était une partie, comment je vais dire, à part, qui n'avait rien à voir avec la politique. C'était un moyen, comment je vais dire, de cœur pour arriver. Non, Lasha Kinsley. Pourquoi permettre aux élites d'Indiens d'organiser cette conférence?
Elvis, are you there? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can get you. The noise is still there.
Yes.
I was just saying that our elites in this country, honestly, they should not take this Anglophone crisis and use it for personal political gain. The people are suffering, and it is necessary that we come together as a people, as a nation, and we jointly seek lasting solutions to the conflict.
Elvis, I was asking you, don't you think that the move taken by the sons and daughters of Indian division is an example to be copied by other elites from other divisions?
Well, Mr. Lasha, if it's an example, if it can bring, if it is genuine and can bring lasting peace, it's good. But the question I have is, like Gwladys was saying, people like Claire have tried something, people like Atumi have tried something, actively have fallen on a genuine law. Why they are willing to pressure? But not to the initiative council within that area and be accepted. That is what we don't understand about the whole thing. That's why I say about free, that people are only using it for personal political and not actually best the people. If you go to James, for instance, to come up to say she wants
Elvis, the lines are not the best. I will come back to you. The lines are not really the best. While our technicians get to fix what is wrong with their lines, let's come back to the studio to continue with the discussions there. And Amadou Tante is just joining us Good morning once again.
Good morning, Mr. Lasha.
Welcome to the program. Traffic, rains,
I know the serious. It was not easy, but thank God I'm finally there. Good morning to telespectators of my media prime television.
Yes, and we are having information in the papers that more Ambazonian fighters are falling in the battle or falling in battles with military. The military-civilian collaboration in some communities in the northwest and southwest yielding fruit as more Ambazonians are falling.
Yes, actually, that's what we are reading from some of the news. We learn from the ground that is happening in some of the areas. Even though we cannot say that it's success in any one way or the other, because we have continued to say that the number of Ambazonians captured or the number of military being killed can never bring solution to the problem. Because what is happening to the Ambazonian separatists is the same thing that's happening on the side of the military. You can quite remember that within this about 2 or 3 weeks now, Bamenda Manfe stretch of route has been a bloody one on the side of the military. Many military defense and security forces have been equally killed by the separatists. Why the military on their part in the northwest region, so areas like Wuzang and the one they are saying have equally been killing the separatists on the other side. So that's why we keep saying that if they keep killing can never bring solution to the problem we have been going through. Once the government on the different actors to give peace a chance by doing everything possible to come into an inclusive way out or inclusive dialogue that is peaceful, nothing like that has to do with the military option that has been taken by the government and has failed in all ways.
Okay, Gwladys.
Effectivement, on a aussi des attaques ambazoniennes à l'ouest du Cameroun et le gouvernement camerounais a demandé aux autorités de se joindre à l'armée pour apporter une solution de stabilité dans cette autre partie du Cameroun.
Oh, so for some time now we have been recording some of the attacks from the west region, because if the separatist fighters on their part can start attacking the French part of Cameroon, it means that they are diverting what they are claiming to be fighting for. Because what they claim to be fighting for is for the Anglophone region or independent state of Anglophone region, in the Anglophone region or the former southern Cameroon, and not what they are pushing. They are
pushing the military and how do I call it, colonizers to their own country.
No, if they are pushing them to their own country, they should not cross their border. They should remain within the Anglophone region. But if they are going out of the Anglophone region, then it's a different thing. It's no longer the fight for what they call the Amazonia. It's supposed to be only within the former Southern Cameroon territory.
Mais peut-être qu'à ce niveau-là, ils ont l'impression que ça va attirer plus d'attention. Peut-être que le gouvernement camerounais va plus prendre en considération leurs demandes. Je ne sais pas. Peut-être c'est une stratégie.
No, I think if it's calling for attention, it's no longer calling for attention for the restoration of what they are called a part of Anglophone that has once been a federation of its own. It's now call attention for, like some other actors within Cameroon have been saying that
so
what problem is going on.
They are confused? They don't even know what they are doing.
No, what I've noticed is that sometimes some of the separatist fighters like what No Pity did in the other part in the west region do attack the region, especially when they want to harvest what they call guns, or weapons to be used in doing their attack. I don't think they actually go and attack people within that area. They go
you are very versed with international laws, convention, international humanitarian law. What these guys are doing in the northwest and south, does it still fall within the ambit of war or fighting for freedom? If you have to reconcile it with some of those international laws and stuff that you are very versed with?
No, the truth here is that freedom fighting has many ways. When you are fighting for freedom, you are supposed to do everything possible to make sure that you respect these international norms as we are talking about. But when you start going out of the international norms, somehow it could be interpreted as going out of the rules. When you go out of the rules, because what's happening here is because
war. When we talk about war,
is there any rules?
Is there any rule? The
yes.
aim is to kill.
No, the thing is that yes, on the enemy, inflicting pains on the enemy is not the problem, because the issue here is that international humanitarian law, which is somehow called the law of war, have some regulations that come out only to protect civilians in times of war. But when the defense and security forces are fighting, that's why we don't have much interest in hearing that separatist fighter has been killed or the military has been killed. We don't have any interest in that effect, because when you voluntarily pick up arm to go and fight the other party, you go there and the person does not kill you, you are going to kill someone. Even if you first to kill the person will obviously kill you. Our major interest is protection of civilians and their dwellings. So they should make sure that whatsoever is going on, they should do everything possible to limit civilian casualties, because that's where our major problem lies, because we have been seeing a lot of things happening, terrible things happening on the ground where separatist fighters go. I'm even surprised to hear that Bakare, the military man in Dop, is now the one going to burning or destroying bridges in Bamunka. Meanwhile, at the beginning of the war, we noticed that separatist fighters were going about destroying bridges to facilitate.
Do you have facts?
I'm telling you that Bakare has destroyed some.
He's a company commander of Dop. Do you have facts to prove what they are saying?
Yeah, what I'm moving around. No, actually, I would this particular thing I'm saying regard to the destruction of a bridge. He has got some bridge within Bamunka, inside the village of Bamunka, crossing that the farmers used in crossing to their farms that was destroyed by this Bakare. So according to him, he is claiming that separatist fighters are using this bridge to cross and go to wherever they are going to, which I don't understand why some of these sort of
Donc, à ce niveau, si les populations sont bloquées de l'autre côté, elles ne peuvent pas aller de l'autre côté.
Actually, that's the issue. The population has been blocked on one side. They are unable to cross the area and go for their farming activities.
Okay.
Une situation vraiment complexe. Nous sommes toujours au Cameroun.
Let's talk the fallout of war. This time around, we are focusing on Central African Republic, where there was a meeting in Yaoundé bringing together stakeholders in the sub-region to talk about how they can champion peace. Territorial Administration Minister Paul Atanganji held a meeting alongside his PA of External Relations, Jean Belambela, where they were talking about the refugee situation. And shortly after the meeting, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugee congratulated or hailed government hospitality when it comes to taking care of displaced persons from Central African Republic.
Yes, that's what I saw, and actually that is true. We know that Cameroon has been very hospitable when it comes to protection of refugees, those who are coming out from the who have been pushed out of their own countries of origin, especially those from the Central African Republic and other neighboring countries that are currently suffering from conflicts, and this has been ongoing for quite a long time.
Mais à quoi est-ce que ça ressemble? Parce que on a des conflits peut-être en Centrafrique et les Centrafricains se réfugient au Cameroun, et on a aussi des conflits au Cameroun et les Camerounais se réfugient en Centrafrique. Donc, de quoi est-ce qu'il est question?
No, the issue is that when you are forced with conflicts, people are forced to leave their country of origin and go to another country, or remain within the same country, like the coast of Anglophones who are in the French part of Cameroon here. So sometimes we are not left with no option. When you see Central African coming to Cameroon, means that there were no possibility for them to in fact, their peace or their security was no longer guaranteed where they found themselves. And they decided to run from the area to Cameroon where they think they are protected. Sometimes, even though Cameroonians who are living here and going to Central African Republic, maybe they know that they don't know how the environment actually is, and they don't
Est-ce que eux aussi ne partent pas en Centrafrique peut-être pour chercher aussi la protection parce que
not many of them go there. We can talk about Nigeria and other neighboring countries, but most of the people coming into Cameroon, they are from Central African Republic. Only few Cameroonians have to take refuge in Central African Republic.
Yeah, even the few who are taking refuge, most of them end up coming back, because the issue is that when you are living in your own country, you know the situation in your own country. You don't know exactly the situation in the country you are moving to. It's only when you get there that you begin to understand how the situation there. But those who are living in that country and coming to your own country, they will not know exactly how your own situation is. Until they reach your country.
What is the humanitarian situation now? You are a civil society, actor. What is the humanitarian situation of Cameroon? We are talking about the burden on the government of the Republic of Cameroon in taking care of these refugees and the rest.
No, it is part of the engagement of our government, because it's very normal for the Cameroon government, for government of different countries to host or protect those who have forcefully left their own country of origin to any of the countries, these countries. You have to do everything possible, even though when it concerns the crisis within Cameroon, like the situation from the far north region and the one in northwest and south region, we don't understand how the internal displaced persons are being taken off by the government, because the only thing we have been hearing of is distribution of food items and all the rest, mattresses and all that. I don't know if that's the only thing that these people need. We have been saying that one of the most important things that the government ought to have done was to provide free education to virtually all those who are leaving this conflict region and coming to the French part of Cameroon. Government to identify them, and there should be a special center where these people are being registered, and government should do everything possible to make sure that those who are the students that are involved are given the necessary opportunity to continue with their education on pursuit.
Okay, Elvis, I don't know if you are back. Your lines are okay now. I don't know if you can hear me. Unfortunately, Elvis is not there. We continue. Recently, the Canadian High Commissioner to Cameroon, Richard Bale, was in Bamenda, where he met with stakeholders. He met with local administrative authorities as well as the officials of the Northwest Regional House of Assembly, where Canada shares some peculiarities with Cameroon when it comes to language and other stuff. So the meeting was first of its kind. Amadou Tante, for him to go to the Northwest region of the country, in the region which is plagued by conflict. How do you interpret the visit of the Canadian High Commissioner? Is it not time for Cameroon to start tapping from Canada's, rich experience?
Yes, as you really say, it's actually time for Cameroon to type from.
Because there are laws in Canada that, when it comes to language, everything is equal. But our constitution says it, but we are not practicing it in Cameroon. Reasons why we are having some of the issues that we are having today. And with the Canadian High Commissioner going to the Northwest and meeting those in charge of, some of the institutions, is it not good news? And should Cameroon not start copying from the example of Canada?
No, it's really very important. I think this is actually time for Cameroon to do everything possible to copy from Canada. Because we have to notice, realize that most of those advocating for a two-state federation, especially with regard to SDF in particular, they are calling on the government of Cameroon to make sure that they apply the same thing that has been done in Canada. Because Canada, as we hear, has gone through the similar situation we are going through in Cameroon here before they become the way it is. And let me start here by equally thanking His Excellency Richard Ballet for his work, the work he has been doing.
Simplest diplomat.
I think that's the most simple. I think that's one of the most simplest diplomat in Cameroon. He's very open to virtually all the Cameroonians, especially civil society actors, because we are working a lot. We are doing a lot of things in collaboration with him, and he's always very open and been doing everything possible to make sure that, particularly with regard to the case in the Anglophone, the conflict in the Anglophone region, he has been doing virtually everything possible to see that peace return to this region. At least we are praying that the government should do everything possible to at least to use the diplomats like him, and for at least since our country is one of the model countries, we think that can help or their situation, there are similar ways of living can take us out of this conflict, so that at least we are think good advice that can lead us out of this mess can come out from Canada.
Elvis, can you hear me now?
Yes, Mr. Lasha.
Okay, we're back, and let's talk this time around fuel scarcity, kerosene scarcity in Kumba, hits Kumba, and we've had reports that several truck drivers in the country have gone to filling stations and they cannot find fuel to fill their cars. Even we have trucks that are even blocked up north as a result of this new development.
Can you come again, please?
We are talking about fuel scarcity, kerosene scarcity hits Kumba, and this is coming to add to what we have been reading and hearing in reports or reading in reports talking about fuel in filling stations. So many truck drivers, they can't find fuel to fuel their cars, and we have so many of such trucks, stranded or they are parked up north. They don't have this fuel, and some of those truck drivers who spoke to several sources are saying that they have gone to several filling stations and they cannot find fuel.
Well, the issue with the scarcity in fuel, I think it comes back to a governance issue.
And this is a very sensitive sector. We all know the rule of transportation when it comes to the prices of commodities, basic commodities.
Well, honestly, Mr. Lasha, the lines, please.
Yeah, right on. Move on.
Yeah, I was saying, if we talk about fuel scarcity, just like the hike in price of other commodities, I was saying that it comes back to a governance issue. It comes back to a matter of a lack of a vision on the part of the leaders in place. It comes back to the issue of leaders who are not proactive when it comes to certain situations. We are today in Cameroon talking about a country that has possibilities in terms of natural resources to be able to even generate energy from areas. Talk about, we have Sonaran, for instance. The question is, let's ask ourselves what is happening with Sonaran today. It is that with the crisis that we have there, we at one point in time Sonaran serious damages with burns and all that. But then, if we cannot entirely blame it today on the crisis, because even without the crisis, the truth is that things have not actually worked with us the way the common man would have wanted it to be. And what we can simply be is that with the recent scarcity, we should be expecting a serious hike in prices of fuel to add to the increase in other commodities already, in the prices of other commodities, meaning therefore that the common man, whether we like it or not, will have to be paid the price all the way around. And I'm afraid that this scheme may at one point in time even be artificial too, because people want to make excess profit out of certain things. We saw in newspapers, for instance, of people talking about illegal fuel that has to be that comes to Nigeria and I don't know, other countries. The question is, why do we have to? As I want to think that when we still have all the necessary possibilities, yes.
La ligne, elle n'est pas bonne du tout. On a du mal à vous suivre, Mbane Elvis. Alors, on va partir rapidement en sport avec la possible candidature d'Nganamouet comme sélectionneur des Lions indomptables féminines au Cameroun.
Elvis can see here also. Okay, yeah.
S'il faut parler de possible, donc, Nganamouet possible sélectionneur du Cameroun. En bref, pour moi, je pense que ça doit être un problème. Voilà. Je me dis qu'ils sont responsables, les responsables qui sont censés sélectionneurs-là qui puissent tout mettre en œuvre pour qualifier la personne pour cette position-là. Tout ce que nous on souhaite au Cap, c'est d'avoir de bonnes personnes dans les meilleurs endroits. Et de deux, elle est, comme on c'est le cas avec les aujourd'hui dans le Cafou, si elle peut être sélectionneur, peut-être à la jeunesse, peut apporter peut motiver les jeunes à rêver de ce pays. Peut-être un nouveau standard à la maison, ça peut aussi faire les choses et pas les choses autrement. Donc, si elle peut être sélectionneur pour moi, pas de problème, vu qu'elle fasse un travail au pays, c'est pas petit. J'encourage que la jeunesse soit donnée la possibilité de prouver tout ce qu'ils peuvent dans ce pays.
Okay, Elvis, we'll be coming back to you. Let's end the program with this headline that has to do with what a senator from the Northwest region is suggesting. The senator said that he calls for revision of traditional succession laws in Cameroon. He says that as a result of this law that has to do with male children succeeding their parents or their father, it is really a problem with women and has contributed to maternity or talking about mortality, maternal mortality in the country, as pressure often comes from family members for women to keep, bringing forth children, even despite some medical advice given to those families by doctors. And parents still have to, push their children to give birth to male children in order to succeed. Amadou Tante, I'm sure your organization might have been working on things like that, areas like that, to protect the rights of some women who are often victims at times because they are looking for, for male children and they end up losing their lives.
And losing their marriage as well. So it's very, very important. We're going to talk about the issue of gender equality and some of these things. It's very important that issue of inheritance and all the rest there should not be any exception. Each and everyone, be a male or a female.
So the senator is saying that the succession law in Cameroon should be revised.
No,
it's not okay that only male children should succeed their father.
That law, that law is what I was saying is against the constitution itself. It's against the constitution of Cameroon, because when the constitution says that you guarantee the equality between of rights and all the like, and another law comes in to say that, to limit the succession only to men, there is a gross violation of the rights of the constitution itself and rights of women. At least women should be given equal opportunities, like same as the men, so that they could benefit from issues as such, and to prevent some of these problems like this marital problem, this divorce and losing of life, only because of not having a male child and all the rest. Because in some instances we have seen some men who decide to drive away their wife only because the wife is not able to give birth to a male child.
Est-ce que c'est la femme qui donne le sexe?
No, that's the problem, because it is a man that impregnates a woman. If you are not able to impregnate a woman with a male child, so don't complain that a woman is not having a male child, because you are the one that impregnates a woman.
People God? The senator is just saying that sometimes family members mount a lot of pressure on women. Somebody has put to bed maybe 6 female children, and the family members still want that person to look for another child. Maybe that child will come out to be a male child. And that is against the medical advice given to the family by a medical doctor, saying that woman should not put to bed again.
And actually, in some instances, we have seen where a man has abandoned the woman who just gave birth to in the hospital of a female child. We will saying that he was thinking that the wife was going to give birth to a male child, and when he came there and realized that the wife gave birth to a female child, he decided to abandon the wife in the hospital. This is a very serious problem, because we have given a lot of privilege only to the male and not to the female as well. Everyone is supposed to have the right.
So do you really think that the law should, if the law is revised, is really going to solve this problem? Because there are still some communities that a lot of education and sensitization is needed, to bring you to limelight some of these issues, that it is like a taboo that somebody dies and you see the gay child succeeding that man to remain in the compound, which means that the gay definitely will marry a man and bring to that compound.
No, actually, most of these things start with sensitization. You need to first of all sensitize the people and make them to understand the reasons why these things are important. Because I was saying that we have had a lot of broken homes today. We have a lot of broken homes today, which are as a result of not having a child or not having a male child, and some of these things like this. So we need to first of all sensitize the people. Go to these palaces, make sure that they start from the palaces, make sure that they make the notables to sensitize the notables, make them know the importance. Because sometimes most of these things are done out of ignorance. Make them know the importance of giving equal right to this to male and female when it comes to succession and land ownership.
For example, somebody dies in some of those villages, they are sharing land. they say since you are a woman, you are not supposed to have any parcel of land. Only the lands are only meant for the male child. What becomes the place of the gay child should, if she is not married or has a husband on her own?
No, that one is really a regrettable situation, and this what the senator is saying is very, very important. At least need to be taken into consideration. And he does not just need to end there. He need to do everything possible to make sure that there is an advocacy or meet other actors so that we can work together to that effect and make sure that we sensitize the people and advocate for a change in that policy for the male, and to make sure that the female child have the same rights as a male child, right of succession or right of land ownership and all the rest within our community.
Thank you, Amadou Tante, for coming. It was not easy for you to get to the studio this morning.
No, but thank God I'm finally there. It's always a pleasure. Even as I keep saying, even my 1 minute in here is always very, very important to me.
Thank you, Gwladys. Thank you, televiewers of my Media Prime Television. Thank you, Bane Elvis, for taking out time from the nation's political capital, despite the bad weather that probably might have influenced the way communication went today between Yaoundé and Douala. Thank you for being there, and thank you to televiewers of my Media Prime Television for watching this edition of the program. Hopefully we'll be back tomorrow for more on what the papers must have carried in Cameroon. Bye-bye for now.